What's going on, guys? Your boy Maze, we're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, me doing the Skoll and Hati Holy Relic priority list here, guys. In this video, we're going to be going over the Holy Relics from best to worst in terms of priority for a free-to-play player and kind of that like perspective, right? If you guys saw the rest of the videos in this series, we have the one for Icthirenir, we have the one for the bird, and then we also have the one for Nidhogg, so check out those videos. I'll link them all in the description as well. And with that out of the way, man, let's hop in and let's go over the Skoll and Hati relic priority list. So we have 13 Holy Relics from Skoll and Hati, so I think it is fair to go by actually ranking them by numbers. So I had the bird and the deer where I didn't rank them by numbers past like a certain point. I think with this one I can definitely do it. There's only 13 relics, so it's not too many to the point where I just like can't cover all of them and I just, you know, say which ones are good and which ones are bad. But we're gonna hop in here, guys, and we're gonna start with the number one priority Holy Relic, which is obviously going to be Thonar. We know this, right? So whenever I talk about demonic beast battle, and the character that you make the Holy Relic for is going to be the one that's made for the, you know, the content, right? Look at Skoll and Hati, where you have Thonar, and look at her Holy Relic. Both increase allies HP related stats by 10% up to 4 times, and fills allies ultimate move gauges by 1 orb whenever the hero uses skills in Skoll and Hati demonic beast battle, excludes ultimate moves. So it, you know, a really good bonus on the fact that Red Thonar already was going to be a really good character in Skoll and Hati. So what she was already doing, right, was increasing the attack related of the team, right, and also the damage dealt, right? You have damage dealt with single target attacks, and then the attack related stats, alongside the fact now that with the relic, if you guys make it, is going to be increasing HP related stats and filling gauge for the entire team, which is very, very useful in Skoll and Hati, as you guys know, with the card set and all of that. So yeah, man, like off the rip though, Thonar is gonna be your number one you know, go-to. It makes the most sense, right? It's Thonar, you know, that's probably the most valuable like Holy Relic of the bunch. Now moving on to number 2, guys, the second most valuable Holy Relic is gonna go to Nanashi, man. It's a given at this point, right? We know how strong unknown race is in the meta, and even with just like unknown race characters releasing in the future, Nanashi is the best backline for unknown, right? If we read the passive here on the Holy Relic, increases the unknown race allies basic stats by 30%, then increases defense related stats of all allies with 2 or fewer skills at the start of the allies turn by 20% for 1 turn. And this works from the backline. Very, very strong effect. Nanashi already was giving, you know, a max HP, crit resistance, and crit defense buff of 20% already, on top of the fact he's getting the extra crit defense or you know, defense related, and then also the fact that he's getting the 30% basic stats for unknown, while also reducing the attacking enemy's ultimate move gauge by 1, which is just absolutely insane. So Nanashi is just a given here. He easily is number 2, at least with the meta that we have right now. I know I did a priority list for Skoll and Hati a while back, and I said that like Chandler was better at the time. I think now it's definitely shifted. Nanashi is the number 2 most priority Holy Relic to actually get, with the way the meta has been shifting and the amount of unknown characters that have been releasing, obviously with Overlord, and then also, you know, upcoming with even like the Oslo and Hawk that's going to be coming out. So yeah, man, just a lot of stuff that like unknown have been getting, and so Nanashi is going to be a number 2 on the list here in terms of the priority for Holy Relics. Now moving on to number 3, guys, I think my number 3 is going to go to probably Chandler now. Yeah, Chandler is going to be a priority for the Holy Relic, because the way he works in PvP is that whenever Chandler sets up a stance, right, he's going to have this Holy Relic here, which is going to remove debuffs from self when using the stance skill, and then decrease damage taken by 30% and increase HP related stats by 20, which is really, really good, right? That effect alone already makes Chandler's stance effect like really strong in terms of tanking. And with the damage it deals, if you guys don't know, Chandler's stance, it's a counter that increases the damage dealt for the amount you've taken. So if you take a ton of damage, you're just gonna dish out a crazy full counter that's gonna like one bang the enemy. And I've had times where like my Chandlers had like, you know, one bang purgatory melees like following up with like an attack related up like attack, and you'll still one bang them, man. So like Chandler, obviously if you're running like a demon team right now, I think Chandler is on the best demon team at the moment. I think it's like Chandler, Demon King, Perk Melee at the moment. I think is probably the best team, considering what the demons are at this point. So yeah, man, if you were running demons at all, guys, that's definitely going to be a high priority Holy Relic right here because of how strong it is. And in my opinion, it's definitely going to be one of the better ones for a character like Chandler and what he's, you know, providing to the team, being that taunt character. So yeah, man, that is Chandler right there. Let's move on to the next character. Alright, guys, so the next character is going to be, in my opinion, Chad King. So Chad King's Holy Relic, if you guys don't know, increases the hero's basic stats by 15% when protected by the hero's barrier, and then also increases the hero's damage dealt by 15%. So he has two things that you're getting. You're getting 15% basic stats when you're protected by the shield, and then also 15% extra damage dealt, which both of those things is really good considering that King was already giving you a damage reduction and damage dealt effect by what is that? So create a barrier equal to 15% of damage dealt, and then increases damage dealt by 25%, and then it reduces the damage taken by 100% of the damage he's dealt, pretty much, right? So King is really insane. Like, if you're running him in PvP, PvE, I think a lot of it comes from the PvE side of things when you're running, like, you know, Brawler Bond King teams. You know, that's been one of the metas for a lot of the demonic beasts nowadays, right? People run like Thonar, Chad King, Brawler Bond, and that's a really good comp right there. You have multiple comps across all the demonic beast battles where King with his relic can just you know shine really well with the Brawler Bond comp, and in my opinion is definitely one of the relics that I would recommend for a lot of like newer players to get, especially if you do have Chad King. So yeah, man, that's gonna be my number 4 for the Holy Relic priority list. Let's move on to number 5. Alright guys, so moving on to number 5, we have the Scotty Relic. Now the thing with the Scotty Relic is that it's kind of counterintuitive for what she's trying to do, but I do like the Scotty Relic a lot because the way it works is it increases all stats by 6% up to 3 times if there are no debuffs on the hero when using a skill. So what you can do with Scotty is you can do the buff removal card first and then follow up with her debuff card on herself, and the way it works is that it applies before skill activation. So before the actual debuff applies from her second card, you're gonna get the all stats up, and you'll have 12% all stats, at least for the the time being from the jump, right? Which I think is really strong. And you can max it out at, what is that, 18% all stats. And there's no time limit, right? There's no time limit on the all stats. The moment you get the all stats, is forever on Scotty, and she has that benefit, which I think is really strong. And you can use this across all game modes, PvP, PvE, depending on if there's like sins in PvP and you can run like a debuff oriented like blocking team, Scotty's gonna be great in that. And then you also have like the PvE side of things where she's great in a lot of the demonic beast battles. You look at Skoll and Hati, Deer, Bird, even Nidhogg a little bit on a Ragnarok team, because she has that buff removal, she is strongman. And so I'm definitely going to recommend Scotty as the number 5 on my list because of how strong her relic is alongside her already really strong debuff blocking oriented kit, right? So that's going to be Scotty right there, guys. Let's move on to the number 6. Alright guys, so for number 6, we're going to have Ragnarok Diane. Now, the thing is with Ragnarok Diane, she doesn't really have too much like PvP usage right now. But with the way, Ragnarok's going and the possible characters we're going to be getting in the future, looking at how strong it is with this Holy Relic, this relic is absolutely insane, guys. In PvP, Ragnarok allies and their heroes' damage taken from skills during the enemy's turn will not exceed 50% of max HP. So they have 50% HP damage cap. Now that is very strong, and then it's also going to increase attack related stats by 1% for every 6% of remaining HP when using skills. So pretty much you have like a Lolly Merlin passive, but for your entire team of Ragnarok characters. So whatever Ragnarok characters have released, think about the characters that have come out this year so far that are really strong Ragnarok characters. You have like Tyr, you have Hel. They're just very strong characters that can take a huge benefit from this Holy Relic. So that's why I'm going to rank this at the number 6, if I'm not mistaken. So this can be 6 or is it 7? It might be 6 or 7, but yeah. Alright guys, the next Holy Relic we're going to actually go with is going to be the Mono Holy Relic, right? Increases 7 Catastrophes allies damage dealt with all target attacks by 5% for each 7 Catastrophe ally on the battlefield. Now this Holy Relic isn't too insane, but I think the main benefit you get out of making this relic is that it's going to be really strong on a guild boss, or not guild boss, but like guild wars oriented catastrophe team, right? Catastrophes are really strong in guild wars, where if you're using like, as an example, right, when you guys are in Heroes Arena, what is one of the main teams you fight? It's a 7 Catastrophes team, man. And guess what? It's because this Mono has this relic, and she's able to get that extra basic stats for the team, right, which is pretty good. Or you have the damage dealt. The blue Mono is the one that has basic stats in the passive, and it only works in PvP as well. So you have that alongside the fact that you're getting the all target damage dealt. So like, when Roxy does her AoE, or you have like, Lilia doing her AoE, you have a lot of, like leeway with this when running like a catastrophe team. So it's not like the craziest relic or anything like that, but definitely does help Mono, and I would recommend it if you were trying to push for like a Guild Wars oriented catastrophe defense team. It's definitely going to be really good. So that's another Holy Relic right there. That'll be number 7 on the list, guys. Moving on from that, guys, we got Festival Zeldris at number 8. Now, Festival Zeldris isn't really used too often nowadays. The thing is, with him is that, you know, you have Demon King, you have Ominous Nebula, you have those two Zeldrises that have kind of taken the place of a lot of the, you know, the team comps. I think Zeldris is only really run right now on the Sins team, but because Sins team is a very strong team, you know, I'm definitely going to recommend this Relic. Look at the Holy Relic effect here, guys. Decreases debuffed enemies' attack-related stats by 10% when using skills, and the main part of getting this is because you're having the basic stat buff already from Festival Zeldris' passive already. So if you guys don't know, it increases the allies' basic stats by 3% for every debuff applied on the enemy, and because Sins team is able to apply debuffs very easily and also lowering their attack related by 10%, you know, Zeldris is going to be a great backline for that team, and another character I'm going to recommend. So that is number 8 on the list, if I'm not mistaken. Let's move on to the number 9. Number 9, guys, is going to be the Matrona Holy Relic. Now, Matrona's Holy Relic is just increased giant allies basic stats by 25%. Just straight up giant allies basic stats, man. Really, really good stuff. I mean, you're going to be using this a lot in Guild Boss and also in Heroes Arena as well. You have the blue Matrona, which is going to be a Guild Boss character because she already has 25% basic stats and it only works in PvE. So you have that alongside the Relic, but the Relic works in all content. So you have, you know, all content 25%. So that's where the red Matrona comes in, and that works on her when you're running like Heroes Arena. So very, very good Relic, and honestly, you could probably put this Relic higher on the list depending on the content you're doing. And yeah, I mean, you know, Matrona is a very solid character with the Relic, and I'm highly going to recommend this Relic for someone that's trying to push in Guild Wars or Heroes Arena and in Guild Boss, I mean. So yeah, that is going to be the Matrona Holy Relic, 25% giant basic stats, guys. Moving on from that, guys, we do have the Elat Holy Relic. Now, Elat Holy Relic is not insane, right? It's definitely okay, but it's a Knighthood Guild Boss one, right? So if you look at it, increases allies basic stats every time the hero uses a skill in Knighthood Boss, limited to 5 times. So you do get a what is that? 15% basic stats. It's nothing too crazy, but its main use is because if you're running like a Elat on like Nidhogg, right? If you don't have like the full like Goddess variant and you have like the Elat setup, you know, it's not bad, right? And Elat obviously gets extra stats from having this on her, which is pretty good. And the blue Elat is really good in Guild Boss. Same with the red one when doing nuke strats. You know, there are some viability with it, but it's nothing too insane. But yeah, you know, we're at the like the lower parts of the tier list here, guys, for like the list. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you can expect. Like, Elat's not too insane, but there is that Relic right there. Let's move on to the next Relic. Alright, guys, the next Relic is going to be Droll. Droll is the Relic here is actually the same as Albedo's Relic, by the way, for you guys wondering. Decreases allies damage taken by 5% for each buff on the hero. It's actually allies, though, which is different from Albedo's, where hers is just for herself. But regardless, it's kind of the same idea, right? It decreases the damage taken for each buff on the hero, and Droll obviously applies a ton of buffs. He also has a commandment that gives buffs as well whenever he takes damage. So, you know, it's pretty good, but the problem is with Droll is that he's just not a good character, right? The effect is nice because you have more damage reduction, but it's not going to be anything too insane and not, you know, too much of a change for when actually running the you know, Droll on field. So yeah, I mean, it's good, but mainly like a chaos battle situation. Maybe if you're running him in chaos battle, sure. But yeah, I mean, Droll is not really used too much, but as a link, he is very good as well because he has a HP link as well. So there is Droll, guys. Moving on to the final character, which you guys see right here, is going to be Deanna. Oh no, we have Cusack. No, I forgot about Cusack. Cusack is the next character. Increase the hero's crit damage by 80%. That is a Cusack right there. It's just straight up 80% crit damage. It's only on field, right? You're not going to have this as like a link or anything like that. But yeah, Cusack, and then we have the Diane. So Cusack, then Diane. So that's pretty much the entire list. The reason why Diane is at the bottom, though, guys, is because her Relic isn't insane, right? You're healing HP by 30% of max HP if a critical strike occurs. And honestly, you're not like, you know, what are you really doing with this Diane? I guess like the fighter Diane, the creation one, if you're running like a taunt for her and you don't have like Matrona or like Queen Diane as like a taunt, she can be okay, and this Relic is going to help a little bit for lifesteal, but other than that, I mean, you're not going to get too much benefit out of this Relic, and honestly, it's definitely the worst one of all the Skoll and Hati Relics here, guys, in terms of like looking at them together. So alright, guys, so for the ranking, let's wrap it all up and talk about it again. So the number 1 is going to be Donar, our number 2 is going to be Nanashi, our number 3 is going to be Chandler, our number 4 is going to be Chad King, our number 5 is actually going to be Scotty right here, our number 6 is going to be Ragnarok Diane, Our number 7 is going to be Mono. Our number 8 is going to be Festival Zeldris. Our number 9 is going to be Matrona. Our number 10 is going to be Elat. Our number 11 is going to go to Droll, and then our number 12 is going to go to Kusak, and then 13 being the regular fighter Dian. So that is the Holy Relics right there, guys, and that is my ranking. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think, and if you guys are going to be making any of these relics in the priority list. I'm definitely going to be making more videos like this, guys, so if you enjoy this type of format where we kind of go through and I let you guys know like priority lists, we'll be doing this for like other things in the game as well, but I wanted to do my demonic beast related videos for this. So thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out and have a great rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.